Hi there, and welcome to Celeb Tea. For years, the entertainment world has been buzzing with whispers about Jay-Z and his role in shaping or even stifling the careers of other artists. Among the most persistent claims are that he blackballed R&B singer John B., while other stories suggest that figures like Damon Dash and even Sean Paul were romantically interested in Beyonce during her younger years. While it's difficult to separate fact from speculation, these rumors continue to resurface, raising questions about power dynamics, influence, and the early days of Beyoncé's career. Let's start with John B., a talented singer who first rose to fame in the late 1990s. According to long-standing gossip, Jay-Z allegedly used his industry power to shut doors for John B. after an old interview reappeared in which John admitted that he once found himself attracted to a very young Beyoncé. At the time, Beyoncé was touring with Destiny's Child, and John B. was part of the same circuit, opening for Jagged Edge. In a 2016 interview with world hip-hop star, John B. reflected on those early experiences. He recalled how his breakout tour was alongside Destiny's Child, where they shared stages, radio promos, and promotional events. During this reflection, he openly confessed that, as a grown man, he found himself looking at Beyoncé, then around 16 or 17 years old, in a way he admitted was inappropriate. He even tried to excuse it with a sheepish grin, acknowledging it wasn't right, but also suggesting it was a reaction many men had when faced with young women on the cusp of adulthood. This admission stirred controversy. Some believed John's comments revealed more about the music industry's tolerance of questionable behavior than about him personally. Others focused on whether Jay-Z, already influential and protective of Beyoncé, retaliated by ensuring John B.'s career never reached the heights it could have. After all, John has repeatedly claimed that he was underpaid for much of his music and often struggled to receive fair compensation. However, when digging deeper, the narrative becomes more complicated. John B.'s career wasn't tied to Jay-Z's label. He found his early success under Sony's umbrella, collaborating with Babyface and Tracy Edmonds. He was never signed to Rockefeller or Roc Nation, which weakens the theory that Jay-Z had direct control over his opportunities. Instead, John's professional ties were closer to Matthew Knowles, Beyoncé's father and manager. When John released his mid-2000s project, Stronger Every Day, Matthew Knowles himself was credited as an executive producer through Sanctuary's urban music division. If John had truly crossed a line with Beyoncé during her teenage years, it would have been Matthew, not Jay-Z, who had both the motive and the authority to cut ties or hinder his trajectory. The timeline also complicates matters. While John claimed Beyoncé was about 16 or 17 during their interactions, Destiny's Child had already released Bills, Bills, Bills in 1999 when Beyoncé was 18. That suggests she may have been older than John recalled, though the perception still casts his comments in a troubling light. Regardless, the idea that Jay-Z orchestrated a career takedown seems less likely when considering the real business connections in play. Still, rumors stick, especially when they involve power players like Jay-Z. Many fans remain convinced that Jay used his connections to shield Beyoncé and punish anyone who stepped out of line, including John B. Now shifting to another layer of speculation, let's talk about Damon Dash, Jay-Z's former business partner at Rockefeller Records. For years, gossip blogs have suggested that Damon made advances toward Beyoncé in her youth, even while she was rumored to be dating Jay-Z. Recently, Damon addressed these allegations directly during an interview with The Art of Dialogue. When asked whether he had ever tried to pursue Beyoncé, Damon hesitated, offering a long-winded explanation that ultimately boiled down to, yes, he had asked for her number once, but no, he never attempted to pursue her romantically. According to him, the moment occurred at a Victoria's Secret fashion event where he briefly crossed paths with Beyoncé. He admitted he may have asked for her contact information, but insisted his real interest lay elsewhere, specifically in model Gisele Bündchen. Damon also took issue with the credibility of the people spreading these stories. He dismissed one particular individual as merely an employee who had no true connection to Rockefeller's inner circle, let alone accurate knowledge of Damon's personal interactions. He emphasized that while gossip tends to exaggerate, he would never knowingly attempt to involve himself with another man's partner, particularly someone like Jay-Z's girlfriend. Despite his denial, the ambiguity of his response, combined with his admission that he may have asked for Beyoncé's number, continues to fuel speculation. For fans and critics, it's less about what Damon claims now and more about how these stories fit into the larger narrative of competition, loyalty, and power surrounding Beyoncé's early years with Jay-Z. Beyond John B. and Damon Dash, another figure often pulled into this web of rumors is Sean Paul, the Jamaican dancehall superstar who collaborated with Beyoncé on the 2003 hit Baby Boy. The track was a massive success, topping charts worldwide and becoming a staple in both of their catalogs. However, behind the scenes, fans and insiders began whispering that the undeniable chemistry between Beyoncé and Sean Paul may have sparked tension with Jay-Z. The gossip went something like this. Sean Paul's appearances with Beyoncé were deliberately limited after Jay-Z became uncomfortable with the speculation about their onstage connection. Observers pointed out that Sean Paul rarely performed Baby Boy live with Beyoncé, despite it being one of her biggest singles at the time. This absence only fueled talk that Jay-Z may have stepped in, ensuring Sean Paul was distanced from Beyoncé's spotlight. Sean Paul himself has commented on these rumors in various interviews over the years. While he has generally dismissed the idea of a feud, he has admitted that odd circumstances surrounded the rollout of the collaboration. For instance, at major performances where fans expected him to join Beyoncé, he often wasn't invited or was told his appearance wasn't necessary. He has diplomatically suggested that it may have been due to scheduling or label decisions, but he also acknowledged that he felt some type of way about how it played out. The perception that Jay-Z could have exerted influence in that situation aligns with the larger narrative many fans believe, that Jay has long acted as both a protector and gatekeeper when it comes to Beyoncé's career and public image. Whether that protection came in the form of keeping potential rivals at bay or shaping collaborations to ensure he maintained control, the rumors continue to cast Jay-Z as someone willing to pull strings in the background. When stepping back to look at the broader picture, what emerges is a story not just about individual men, but about the entertainment industry itself. Power, control, and image management have always been integral to the way careers rise or fall in music. The speculation about John B., Damon Dash, and Sean Paul highlights how difficult it is to separate business from personal matters when dealing with high-profile artists. Consider Beyoncé's position during these years. She was transitioning from a teenage star in Destiny's Child to a solo artist destined for superstardom. During that shift, she was surrounded by powerful men, her father and manager, Matthew Knowles, her eventual partner, Jay-Z, and executives across multiple labels, each with their own stake in her success. In such an environment, any perceived romantic interest, professional misstep, or personal entanglement could quickly snowball into industry consequences. John B.'s claims about struggling to receive credit and payment for his work might not have been directly linked to Jay-Z at all, but instead reflected the larger challenges many artists faced in the late 1990s and early 2000s, especially under the traditional label system. Damon Dash's defensive responses may reveal less about an actual relationship with Beyoncé and more about the ongoing tension between him and Jay-Z, who famously fell out as business partners. Meanwhile, Sean Paul's sidelining could be read as either a coincidence of business decisions or a subtle demonstration of how protective Jay-Z became over his future wife's public image. It's also worth considering how fans and media amplify these stories. Interviews get resurfaced years later, quotes are pulled out of context, and assumptions fill in the gaps. For instance, John B's awkward confession about finding Beyonce attractive as a teen may not have reflected any serious attempt to pursue her, but when paired with speculation about Jay-Z's influence, it becomes a story of sabotage. Similarly, Damon Dash's casual acknowledgement that he once asked for Beyoncé's number becomes framed as a scandal rather than a fleeting, possibly innocent interaction.